light was blinding. Frankie, 27-year-old guy with blonde hair and gray eyes and glasses, wearing shirt and jeans, raised a hand, shielding his eyes from the furious strobing flashes as he was ushered through the crowd. The roar of the paparazzi was deafening, a wall of desperate noise clamoring for a reaction, any reaction from one half of New York's most adored celebrity couple. Omar and Frankie. Frankie. Where is Omar? Is it true about the new project? Look here, Frankie. Just one smile. He said nothing, the sleek, black limousine swallowing him whole just before the door slammed shut, muffling the chaos. He leaned his head against the cool leather, the familiar scent of expensive air conditioning in Omar, his favorite cologne doing nothing to soothe the hollow ache in his chest. An hour later, the opulence was traded for the quiet gravity of a high-rise office. Frankie sat across from his lawyer, Marcus, short, dorky, 42-year-old man with Ted hair, the polished mahogany table reflecting the weariness in his eyes. It's very straightforward, Frankie, Marcus said, tapping a sheaf of legal documents. The prenuptial agreement is ironclad. You leave with substantial assets, enough to ensure you never have to work again. But I must ask one final time. Are you absolutely certain about this divorce? Frankie looked out at the sprawling Manhattan skyline, where the setting sun painted the clouds in shades of bruised purple and harsh gold. I am certain, Marcus Frankie said, his voice flat. It's been over for a long time. I just need to make it official. The past 10 years earlier. Frankie, 17-year-old, laughed, pushing Omar, who was then 18, tall, Hispanic guy with black hair and hazel eyes, moved his sweaty hair back from his forehead. The humid air of graduation day hung heavy around them. They were in Frankie's small, sun-drenched living room, and the excitement radiating off Omar was almost visible. I told you, I knew you'd get in. Frankie chirped, gripping Omar's shoulders. Omar, still breathless, held up the acceptance letter for Juilliard, School of Dramatic Arts. I'm going to be a star, Frankie. A real one. Frankie's own heart ached faintly. He had planned to apply to film school, but the past year had been dedicated to coaching Omar for his auditions, managing his schedules, and providing emotional support. He hadn't sent in his own portfolio. I'm so proud of you, Omar, Frankie whispered, meaning every word. Omar pulled him into a fierce hug. Hey, don't you worry about your applications. Once I'm famous, Frankie, I promise you, I'm taking you with me. You'll be my manager, my stylist, my producer. Will conquer everything together. You're my good luck charm, my everything. Frankie smiled, a blinding, genuine smile that hadn't reached his face in years. You promise? I promise. Omar lowered his head, his eyes shining with youthful earnestness. You're the only star I'll ever need to see. Present day. When Frankie, 27-year-old, blonde with gray eyes, glasses, wearing a shirt and jeans, arrived home from his meeting with Marcus. Omar, tall, 38-year-old, Hispanic guy with hazel eyes, muscle type, wearing fitted shirt and jeans, was already there, radiating energy. Frankie, you're home. Perfect timing. I was just about to call you. Omar shed his blazer and crossed the massive living room, planting a quick, businesslike kiss on Frankie's head. How was your day? Omar asked, not waiting for an answer. Mine was incredible. The director loved the final cut of Stars Aligned. We're having the grand premiere tonight, and you have to be there, of course. My partner, the other Frankie, is going to be there too. So it'll be a huge press opportunity for the whole cast. Frankie felt the casual mention of the other man, his namesake, his replacement, stab him like ice. Of course, Omar. "I'll be there," Frankie murmured. "Great." Omar's enthusiasm was infectious, yet utterly draining. "I knew I could count on you, baby." As soon as Omar left the room to change, Frankie walked past their mirrored closet full of Omar's designer clothes. Their few shared belongings pushed to the corner and into the bathroom. He closed the door, locked it, and let the first sob wrench free. He sank against the cold tiled wall, clutching his knees. It was truly over. He couldn't turn back time. The beautiful life Omar promised was real, but it was Omar's life alone, and Frankie was just a prop in it. The night of the premiere was a circus. The initial focus, as always, was on the famed Omar and Frankie as the top famous gay couple in the industry. Reporters clamored for a joint interview, asking the usual questions about their longevity and love. They gave their interviews, their smiles perfected through years of practice. Omar, an actor, and Frankie, the supportive husband who continues to stay by his side. They were a happy couple, so people thought. But then, the other Frankie, whose real name is Francis Younger, vibrant model turned actor small, beautiful, 23-year-old French guy with wavy blonde hair, wearing white suit and design glasses, arrived. The atmosphere shifted. Reporters and photographers abandoned the older pair. Swarmed the newcomer, eager for fresh gossip and dazzling visuals. Frankie felt a heavy, cold unease settle over him. Just then, Omar's personal manager, Paul, 30-year-old African guy with brown eyes, tapped Frankie's arm. "Frankie dear, since Omar's busy with another interview, the Star Weekly wants a quick solo interview with you. Something about your interior design work. Come away from the noise." Frankie was grateful for the distraction. As he answered questions about textiles and lighting, his eyes drifted back to Omar. Omar, with his black charming suit, was beaming. He was standing beside Francis, also known as the new Frankie, who was equally radiant. The new Frankie's manager, seeing the opportunity, had physically moved them closer. The flashes started immediately, creating the perfect image of the new Omar and Frankie, the fresh, energetic pairing the public already adored. Frankie watched them, their laughter echoing the genuine happiness Omar used to share only with him. It was a picture of betrayal, captured in high flashback, 18 months prior. Frankie, 26-year-old, blonde with gray eyes, wearing glasses with shirt and jeans, came home early one rainy afternoon. As he approached the large French doors, he saw the blurry outline of two figures outside on the patio. Omar and the Francis, also known as the other Frankie. They were deep in conversation. Frankie stopped, hand hovering over the doorknob. He watched Francis, younger, vibrant, model-turned-actor, small, beautiful 22-year-old French guy with wavy blonde hair, wearing the design outfit, lean in, saying something that made Omar, tall, 27-year-old, Hispanic guy with hazel eyes, muscle type, wearing a fitted shirt and jeans, laugh his head thrown back. Then, in a moment that tore Frankie's world to shreds, the Francis hands cupped Omar's face, and he kissed him. Omar did not pull away. The kiss lasted only a second, but it felt like an eternity. Frankie dropped his keys, the faint metallic clatter barely audible over the rain. Omar looked up, his eyes wide, before guilt instantly shuttered them. From that day on, Frankie wasn't the same. He existed in a fog of hurt, watching the coded messages, the casual touches, the way Omar's phone would beep late at night. He knew Omar and the Francis were having an affair, but he loved Omar so desperately. How could he leave the man who held his entire life and identity? He had grasped at straws, desperately trying to bring the passion back. He suggested having a child. They had even gone through the lengthy process of creating a viable embryo for a surrogate. But the surrogate suffered one miscarriage after another. They had finally given up. The silence after their last failed attempt colder than any argument. Later that night, the premiere a distant, painful memory. Frankie lay soaking in the expansive marble bathtub, trying to wash away the day's grime and the years of pretense. The bathroom door creaked open. Omar stood there, his hair damp from the rain, holding a small velvet box. "There you are," Omar said, stepping in and sitting on the edge of the tub. He looked genuinely happy, his dark eyes sparkling. "I wanted to give you this before I forgot. It's an anniversary gift, a bit late, but I was waiting for the right moment." He opened the box. Inside, resting on white velvet, was a beautiful, diamond-encrusted silver ring. Frankie's breath hitched, his chest tightening until he thought he might drown in the bathwater. He had just seen this ring. It was identical to the one Francis was wearing earlier tonight. Omar hadn't bought a ring. He had purchased two of the same, one for his husband, one for his lover. Frankie felt violently ill. The sickness wasn't just emotional. It was physical. He remembered the old promise again. Omar proposing to him after his first major play, swearing his eternal devotion. That promise felt like a cruel, sick joke now. The next day, Frankie found himself at the industry company's large studio. Omar and Francis were there for a promotional shoot. Omar's manager, Paul, 30-year-old, African guy with brown eyes, rushed off to talk to a company executive, leaving his phone on the table. In a rare moment of reckless abandon, Paul's phone rang. It was Frankie. Frankie's was calling Omar. The sound startled everyone. Francis, sitting closest, glanced at the screen, a smug, cold look crossing his face. He picked up the manager's phone and answered it. "Hello?" Frankie froze. I was calling Om." Francis chuckled, a sound like glass breaking. "Oh, he's a bit busy right now. We're actually going over the blocking for our kissing scene later. We've really got to sell this chemistry, you know? It's all about the public narrative." After all, he paused, letting the words drip with malice. "We are the new Omar and Frankie now." Frankie stood perfectly still. He knew that Francis was lying about the kissing, seeing our current project had none. But it was into the lie that broke him. It was the game playing. This was no longer just about love and infidelity. It was about contempt and disrespect. This was the final straw. Present day, that evening, Frankie, 27-year-old blonde with gray eyes, wearing glasses, witch shirts, and jeans, was waiting. He sat alone in the living room, the city lights flickering across his impassive face, when Omar, tall, 28-year-old, Hispanic, hazel eyes, muscle type, wearing a fitted shirt and jeans, finally walked in. He was surprised to see Frankie awake. "Hey? Why are you sitting in the dark?" "I wanted to talk," Frankie said, his voice void of emotion. Omar sighed, running a hand through his hair. "Can it wait? I've had a crazy day. Promotions, scripts, the usual grind." "No," Frankie insisted, finally standing up. "It can't wait. I want to talk about us." The conversation was mercifully short. Omar, defensive and confused, kept trying to rationalize his distance with work pressure. It was his manager, Paul, 30-year-old, African guy with brown eyes, wearing a suit. "Yes, Paul." "Wait, now." "But I just got home. A variety show with Francis." Yes, I'm on my way." Omar hung up, grabbed his keys, and made for the door. "Omar, wait," Frankie called out, but Omar was already halfway out. "I'm sorry, Frankie. This is crucial press. I'll be back late, okay? We can talk tomorrow." And with that, he was gone, completely dismissing Frankie's feelings, the conversation, and their relationship for the sake of his career. Frankie watched the door close. He walked to the drawer, pulled out his phone, and called the limousine service. Then, with steady hands, he retrieved the signed divorce papers from his bag and laid them carefully on the marble coffee table, right beside Omar's favorite movie remote. Frankie's took one last long look at the monument to Omar's success and Frankie's sacrifice, and walked away, leaving it and Omar's promise behind. Later, Omar dropped Frances off at his apartment. Frances, younger, vibrant, model-turned-actor, small, beautiful. 23-year-old French guy with wavy blonde hair, wearing a shirt and jeans, pleaded with Omar to stay, to finally make their relationship public and real. "I told you, I can't," Omar said, his tone firm. "I have to go home to my husband. I'm faithful to my Frankie, only him. You and I, this is just fun. It's for the brand." He left Frances alone, driving himself home. The house was too silent. He called out, "I'm home. We can talk now." No answer. Omar found the kitchen empty, the bedroom cold. Panic set in. He searched every room, frantically calling Frankie's phone, which rang silently from the back of the walk-in closet. He called Frankie's family, his friends. His old manager. Everyone offered a curt, cold refusal to provide any information. His phone buzzed. It was his lawyer, Marcus. Short, dorky, 40-year-old, with red hair, wearing a suit. "Mr. Omar, I regret to inform you I have a document I need to discuss." Omar's eyes fell to the coffee table. The stark white papers stood out against the dark marble. He picked them up. "Petition for dissolution of marriage." He read Frankie's signature. And the truth of the last 10 years, his priorities, his choices, all crashed down on him. Omar sank onto the sofa, the papers shaking in his hands. Did he really leave? 5 years later, Omar, tall, now 33-year-old, Hispanic hazel eyes, muscle type, wearing a dark suit, was the indisputable king of the New York entertainment industry. He had secured numerous lead roles, from critically acclaimed gay dramas to other genre major film roles. He owned his own modeling company and lived in an even grander, custom-built mansion with his new husband, Francis. Now 28, vibrant, model and actor, small, beautiful, French guy with wavy blonde hair wearing a designer clothes. The new Omar and Frankie was still a public sensation, the epitome of glamorous coupledom. Privately, their life was a wasteland. "Francis, where are you? Dinner is ready," Omar called, the name feeling like ash on his tongue. He never ate with his husband anymore. They maintained separate wings of the house and only met for photo ops or red carpets. The promise of love was replaced entirely by the mechanics of a lucrative brand. At a glittering movie premiere, Omar and Francis walked the red carpet with both designer suits, smiling the patented smile that earned them millions. They sat in the theater, watching the beautiful, moving film. Then, the director introduced the film's writer, producer, and star. Frank Smith, a name hung in the air. Frank, that's Frankie. Frankie, who Noah goes by the name Frank in the public's eyes, is now blonde, curly long hair with gray eyes. Wear glasses. With an elegant white designer tailor suit that has a long white designer sheeted cape hanging on Frankie's back. Composed man walked onto the stage. He was older, more defined, and utterly It was Frankie. "Thank you all," Frankie said, his voice calm, confident, and utterly unlike the shy whisper Omar remembered. "This film is dedicated to my life. It is a simple, honest love story between myself and the man I live with, who taught me that true partnership means supporting each other's growth, not sacrificing your own." Omar felt a chill deep in his bones. He knew Frankie was talking about him. After the premiere, Omar bolted into the lobby, desperate to stop him. "Frankie, wait. I need to talk to you." Frankie turned, his expression unreadable. Before Omar could take a step, a tall, Indian, 38-year-old, beautiful man with brown eyes, slick black hair, body build, fitted designer black suit, Tar goes by the name of Jafar, with a warm, easy smile and an arm possessively around Frankie's waist, stepped forward. "Ah, there you are, Frank. Ready to go?" Jafar asked, his eyes politely acknowledging Omar, but his attention entirely focused on Frankie. Frankie smiled at Jafar, a genuine, blinding smile Omar hadn't earned in years. "Ready, darling?" As they walked away, hand in hand, Omar watched the interaction, the crushing realization hitting him. The movie was not about him. The love was about Frankie and Jafar. Francis finally caught up, seeing the raw hurt on Omar's face. That night, the argument was brutal. Francis had tolerated years of this ghost, but seeing the pain on Omar's face when he looked at Frankie was the breaking point. "You're obsessed," Francis screamed. "You still can't get over him. We have a life, a brand, a family here, and you are obsessed with Frankie. You knew what this was when you signed up." Omar roared back, but his voice lacked conviction. "I'm divorcing you," Francis announced, tearing off his identical ring. "And I'm taking our adopted son with me. I deserve a real partner, not a shadow." Omar was surprised, but felt nothing. "Fine," he said, dismissively. Just then, his assistant, Jane, beautiful African woman with long black hair, ran in, breathless. "Mr. Omar." I finally tracked him down. Mr. Frank's address. It's a private estate outside the city. Omar's eyes lit up with feverish excitement. He raced out, leaving his collapsing second marriage behind without a second thought. Desperate to find the first man he'd betrayed, Omar, tall, 33-year-old, Hispanic, hazel eyes, muscle type, wearing a dark suit, arrived at the beautiful, quiet house, standing awkwardly on the porch. Frankie, 32-year-old, blonde, curly long hair with gray eyes, wore glasses and an elegant outfit, opened the door, calm and composed. "Omar, I knew you'd come. My assistant who knew yours had informed me." They talked quietly in the living room. It was stilted, painful, and necessary. Omar offered clumsy apologies. Frankie accepted them with a weary nod. Then, the sound of a key turning came from the back door. Jafar, tall, Indian, 38-year-old beautiful man with brown eyes, bodybuild type, slick black hair, wearing a designer outfit, entered. "Frank, who is this? I asked you to call me if he showed up," Jafar said, his face hardening as he recognized the famous actor. "You need to leave, Mr. Omar." "I'm not leaving yet," Omar insisted. Suddenly, a small, curious figure emerged from behind Jafar's leg. A small, long black, curly hair that was unmistakably Omar's biracial gray eyes like Frankie's 5-year-old boy. His name was Finn. Finn Oliver Smith-Jean. "Papa, who is that?" Finn whispered to Jafar, Omar's world shattered. They had a child together. Frankie had truly built a new family, a real family, with someone else. Frankie gently guided the boy away. "We need to finish this, Omar," he said, leading him to a quiet corner. They spoke about moving on, about finding happiness outside of the blinding celebrity bubble. Frankie wished Omar well on his career, and Omar, humbled and finally heartbroken, offered the same. They shook hands, the final, formal goodbye. Omar walked away, leaving Frankie to his new life. Once Omar was gone, Jafar turned to Frankie. "You should have told him about the kid." Frankie sighed, a deep, tired breath. "What? Tell him that our son is actually his and not yours." "Come on, Jafar, you low. I can't do that." Jafar looked down at Finn, who was happily coloring on the floor. "Then tell me again, Frank. Tell me how our son came to be." 5 years earlier, Frankie, who was 27, was in the limousine, divorce papers safely delivered, on his way to see his lawyer when his phone rang. It was the fertility clinic. "Mr. Frent," the doctor's voice was warm. "I wanted to inform you that the final scientific test tube, created using both your and Mr. Omar's DNA, was a success. We have a viable male embryo. We are preparing to implant it into the surrogate this week, as scheduled." Frankie leaned back against the cool leather, a single tear tracking down GI's cheeks. "Thank you, doctor," he whispered. "Please do not inform Mr. Omar about this. Not now, not ever." At the time, both Frankie and Omar, who was 28 at the time, had agreed on a child together. In happier times. But things had changed. He knew Omar, consumed by his affair and career, wouldn't want it with Frankie anymore. Frankie's life might have been destroyed, but he could save the one piece of pure, untainted hope they had created. Back to reality. Frankie, now 32, gently scooped his son into his arms, kissing his forehead. He didn't regret the decision to keep their child from Omar. He only regretted putting his own life on hold to fuel Omar's success. He was happy now, loved completely by Joe, who then adopted Frankie's son when they first got married. Jafar is not only a devoted, supportive husband, but also a caring, devoted co-parent to Finn. Frankie was no longer mad or upset with Omar. He wished nothing but continued success for the former love of his life. Yet, as his son, Finn's face, a perfect mix of Omar and Frankie's shared features, rested against his shoulder, Frankie knew the truth. A deep, quiet affection for the man he had once been still lingered in his heart. A faded echo of a promise that had cost him everything, but ultimately given him the one thing that truly mattered. The end.